buddies who had like a freaking meeting set for its freaking training, and it was like freaking great. The students were freaking okay. They were like, you know, just being super freaking adorable as usual. But I had this one student who was just so freaking just like extra that he distracted the entire freaking class. And I was doing like small classes today, so I had like classes of like, let's see, like 3 students and up to like I think like around like 6 or 7 students. So it wasn't that freaking great, but this one student talked throughout the entire freaking lesson, and we were doing math too, so it's like, it's not like you can literally just, you know, check off all the freaking questions, check off all the like math problems that you know, and then just turn it in after. It's like you have to complete the entire thing, or at least like a decent portion, so when the other teacher pops back in, you can work through what you couldn't do with her. There were like students that just weren't really doing anything, and I was like, you know, I'm gonna go over most of it with you. I'll give you like a set period to work on it by yourself, and then for the rest of it, we'll work on it together, and then whatever we don't finish, you guys can work on it during the following day. This student was like extremely talkative. He was like a class clown type of student, and it was just so crazy. So I ended up having to separate him from the freaking bunch, and we had luckily an adjoining classroom set, so we had our main study set area, and then we had this other area that was like in the adjoining freaking room type of side. So I sent the one student over there, and I was like, all right, you work on your stuff over there, they'll work on this over here, and then this will be for like 10 minutes while you guys do the individual work period. Since we started it like literally like 5 minutes ago, we're gonna have to extend it to 15 minutes because the first 5 minutes were just completely unproductive, and you guys were all just like freaking being goofballs and talking the entire time, and you were just literally like running around the classroom being a major freaking goofball and like falling on the floor and stuff. So I literally ended up having to sit him over there. He kept popping over to the adjoining room, like door area, and like distracting the students still. So I was like, look, you've got to go back to class. So I sent him back to class, worked with the rest of the students on the freaking like work side, and they were freaking great. They were like literally like just working throughout the entire thing to literally help with solving the problems, and, you know, work with buddies if they didn't get the answer, to like show them how to do it, and then like show them the answers also, so that everybody stayed up to date. And we didn't finish showing, I think, like around like maybe like half the sheet or so, or at least the problems that they really were having trouble with, which is freaking great. But that was my Monday. It was freaking great. I got to go to a new school facility that was like down the street from one of the facilities that I typically always pop up at, and I was like, this is freaking cool. And then it was like one half of the school, which is a completely separate building from the other half of the school, was like the elementary through middle, and then the other building, which was freaking enormous also, was the entire high school building. And I was like, this is a cool freaking area. I love it. And